obtained, etc. Now keep in mind again, as I said, that this CASL Act only applies to electronic messages. So things like phone calls, Skype, faxes, recorded messages, or they're called basically voice casting, they're exempt. As well, old Canada Post snail mail is also exempt as well. Now, compliance using our DMS, which is why you're on this call today. We've now implemented a bunch of features into Advanced Showroom, which I'm going to run through in a few seconds. The first thing is you have to implement it. Secondly, you have to run it, where it goes out and looks at every customer in your database and determines when the last time they purchased something from you was. As well, within Advantage Showroom, on every task, we do have a flag on them that identifies them as a marketing task. So in other words, this is considered marketing. So something like, hey, it's your birthday, that's actually considered marketing, or private sale, that's considered marketing. Something like your lease is coming due, that's not considered marketing. As part of your implied consent, you do have to disclose that you will be sharing data. Now, I don't believe you have to actually name who you're going to be sharing the data with, but you do have to let the customer know that you will be sharing your data with third parties. And in the dealership world today, that's a lot. That could be a lot of companies. Everybody from an Athenacom who does, your surveys for CSI, to SiriusXM, to CarProof. So there's a lot of different companies that it's always good to just review where your customer data is being sent to. We do a heck of a lot of them for a lot of you, and it's just good to know. Another really important best practice with this act is to make sure it works properly and optimally. You can't have multiple customer records. So there can't be 5 Rich Dennicks in your database. You got to have one. Combine them. We do have tools to combine them all together and marry all the data. Really nice. And of course, if you're using, Advantage and Autocomplete, we do have that customer sync feature, and it's very important to have it run. Anytime you make a save in Advantage, it updates Autocomplete automatically, but it is a very important feature to pay close attention to. And again, I just wanted to quickly show you some of the things you can add to emails. Even something as simple as please respond with a yes to provide us with consent that you'd like to receive, continue receiving our emails. That would be sufficient. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I just wanted to kind of give you some ideas of this is one here that I'm putting on my emails now that we send out. But again, it is up to you how you do it. There's some great resources online. Government of Canada has created a full site regarding this, so it kind of gives you some nice images like this. So it's at crtc.gc.ca/anti-spam. A quick Google search will get you there. So, and there's also, I think a lot of you, we sent around the link to the TADA's webinar, so that's very much geared to our industry. It's free, it's online. I encourage you to watch it if you haven't done so. Constant Contact's also done one, which is obviously Constant Contact's one of the leading email marketing companies. There's several of them out there, but Constant Contact also has a free webinar as well. So let's talk about what we did with Advantage Showroom and how we're going to help you keep compliant. So the very first thing we've done is on the customer record, we've added a new section, and this is all for CASL. So there's 3 buttons here. It also automates. So if someone opts in, all you do is hit opt in. It does say, hey, are you sure? This will make them eligible to receive everything moving forward. You hit yes, and now it's just opt in, gold standard. If they opt out, you would simply go to the customer record, hit opt out, and again, it'll warn you. It'll say, hey, no more marketing contact to this customer, and it actually marks the date automatically, and it says, hey, this guy's opted out. Away we go. So that's opted in, opted out. Now let's talk about implied. Implied is one of those things where if you have a customer that's a prospect, and I'll just pretend I'm putting someone in brand new, it will give you automatically 6 months of implied consent. So what that means is the following. As soon as I put this customer in, it identifies them as a prospect, and it says, until December 18th, 2014, you've got implied consent. So it figures that out for you. So really nice. At that point, you've got to determine, is this going to be a long-term opportunity? Is this person going to buy from us? Etc. Now, as far as someone who buys from you, if they're an existing customer in your database, again, some of the tools that we have, we would know the last time they were in for a service, a work order or a parts order or what have you. But if they buy a vehicle from you, we will mark on the customer the date that they opted in. Now, this one I didn't find a good one, but it would actually have it set properly. So on the activities themselves, does anybody have any questions about how the customer record part works? So a lot of it's automatic, based on when you start the customer, based on when the customer purchases a vehicle and or services. And again, the opt-out and the opt-in you would have to manually hit. So let's go how the activities work now. So again, this is really just related to emails. So if I went into an existing template, when we update you to a CASL compliant version, which would be a June version of Showroom, everything is turned off. You would have to decide what is CASL or not. So you can see right here we do have a checkbox. The default is not to be checked, but if you check that, that means that this marketing template is now considered, this template is considered marketing under CASL. What that means is, if I went to send this email to a customer who has opted out, it will just automatically skip them. Now, if a customer has opted out, but the template was unchecked, it would still send it to them. So again, the template, all you really have to do to protect yourself, go through your templates. Now, obviously, you're not going to have as many as us. Make sure that they're the ones that are considered marketing are checked. So something like a birthday or thank you for visiting or things like that. If they are checked, you're going to be covered. And then something like a lease maturity or a service reminder, those aren't considered marketing under CASL, so you're okay to send those forward. Now, how to implement CASL? So when we come into our defaults here, I'm just going to find it here. So we'll walk you through this. I don't even know where it is, sorry. There we go. Under System Settings, when you hit Implement CASL, it will go through your database and run a routine automatically. So we recommend that if you do want to use Advantage Showroom as your de facto tracking system for this, once it's checked, it will go through and run it. You can just leave it on a computer, something to do at the end of the day, leave your computer, go home, and it'll run through it for you. On top of that, when you're in database maintenance, it'll set the status. So what it does, it looks at autocomplete and it looks at Advantage, and basically it says, okay, if this customer now has purchased in the past, we will just automatically update. So that's the next thing you want to do to implement it. After that, it will run itself. So kind of a two-step process there. Once we have that, then you're going forward is, again, it's going to be a lot of automated things that you don't have to worry about, because now we've got, whether there's no contact, the implied part will take care of itself. It'll keep resetting, and then going forward, you're going to be asking all your customers whether they opt in or opt out, whoever, and all you'd have to do is just go into the customer and check it. Now in terms of, that, the TADA at this point, or the UCDA, has not provided us with any forms. We are, due to legalities, we're not lawyers, we're not going to create a form. So if you do have a form you'd like designed, or what have you, you can provide us with one, and you can print it from your system. I don't think it needs to be pre-printed. It's very simple to fill out. When you're delivering vehicles or even doing a work order, it has to be a separate document. It has to be signed. It has to be very clear whether they opt in or opt out of receiving future communications from you. So as a best practice, going forward, that document, that whatever you create, should be included with every vehicle sale, so right in your deal jacket, and should be presented to the customer when they're picking up their vehicles from the service department, or even a parts, if they're going into parts and purchasing anything from parts, they should be presented that as well. But as a whole, that's about everything I wanted to run through today. Did anybody have any questions?